Would you like to live a more awesome life? Join hypnotist Jim Kellner as he explores tips, tricks, and strategies to help you and he live a more awesome life right now on Exploring Awesome.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Exploring Awesome. I'm your host, Jim Kellner. And of course, each episode, we explore tips, tricks, and strategies to help you and me to live a more awesome life, just like the intro lady said. I'm really excited. We're starting I believe this is season 9 of the show. Can you believe it? Season 9. Everybody, we've had some great guests on, and I'm really excited to kick off this season with someone who's just killing it. She's blowing up right now. I'm really excited for you all to get to meet her. I've known her for quite a while. She's a multifaceted individual whose life journey has taken her all over the place. Now, she's a hypnotist. She's committed to creativity and personal growth. And she's really also a creativity expert. She's also the author of a wonderful book that we're going to talk about today. And I'm really intrigued by this idea of being a creativity expert. I didn't even know there was such a thing. And you will want to check out her book. We'll have a link down in the comments. If you're listening later on the podcast, then on the audio podcast, it'll be in the show notes. It's Wild Intuition. Fantastic book. Lots of great stories and tips to help you to become more creative. And with that, everyone, please welcome to the show, Melissa Wild. Hello, Melissa.
Hello, Jim. Thank you so much for inviting me to your show.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Definitely a pleasure to have you on. So, I'm really curious, as I said, I'm really curious about this. Well, before we start, what else did I miss in your bio? What else should people know about you?
Well, I got into this whole field because I like to help people to live their best lives, to get in touch with their authenticity, get in touch with their intuition, live a creative life, and just have more joy in their daily life.
What does that mean to you to live a more creative life?
To me, it means just finding meaning right wherever you are. And, even if you're feeling like maybe you're stuck doing what you're doing, just finding that wherever you are, there's beautiful moments.
Beautiful moments. And how would somebody go about doing that if they're working one of those jobs they really don't like? How can they do that? How can they find those moments?
Just even in that job, just kind of focusing on what it is right there in that time that they like. Say that they could find that one aspect of it that they enjoy. Really, really focus in on that one thing at a time. So it's just kind of really zoning in onto that present moment awareness and making the most of it.
Interesting. And so, like I said in the intro, I'm really intrigued by this idea. In fact, you have your degree in creativity. Is that right?
Yes, I do.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Can you tell us more about that? Is that more common? I mean, I'm just kind of unaware, or is it kind of a rare thing?
Well, it's a smaller program, but I'm sure you probably heard of design thinking.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So the program that I went through is kind of the birthplace of design thinking. Design thinking is a spinoff of the creativity. So this program was actually developed in the 50s, and it was developed by somebody who was in advertising. So it's a strategic process looking at, clarifying what is a problem and like really defining that problem statement, and then getting a whole bunch of ideas, developing a plan, and then implementing your action steps. So fundamentally, there's a process, and then there's ways you can teach it, and then ways that you can become more creative kind of with this process in the back of your mind. It kind of, you start out learning a structure, and then eventually it just becomes a way of being. That's kind of how it lit up for me. Just, one random day, it all sank in, and then I just really embodied that as like, this is my life's work. This is what I need to do to help people.
Before we go on, I want to just give a shout out to everybody who's watching. We got Bradley Stewart Jeffrey. He says, join the chat just as you said, beautiful moments. You're welcome. Hey, if you're listening, if you're watching right now, drop a comment down below, share, like, do all the good stuff. I'm going to be honest with you, Melissa. I lied a moment earlier. I didn't want to sound stupid. So I said I knew what design thinking was, but I do not know what that is. Can you explain what design thinking is?
Yeah, I haven't tapped much into design thinking. It's a structural process, kind of. It's real trendy like in the Silicon Valley area of just kind of getting empathy for what's going on to build better product design. But so this process goes deeper than that. So it's like you can design and work on yourself through the creative process and making yourself better, making better decisions, better quality of life. If you're working in product, you can do that. If you're working in anything, it really has implementation in all aspects of life. And hypnosis really complements it well. So that's how from there I went to hypnosis.
So could you give me an example? So I come to you, I'm a client, and I say, Melissa, I need to be more creative. What are you going to do for me? I mean, you're going to do some hypnosis, I'm guessing. Now, would you use the hypnosis to do some more exploration there, to lock things in, or all of the above, or how does that work?
For the hypnosis to really help you tap into your internal resources.
Okay.
Because this process is going to help you find things, kind of in the external world. So if you're wanting to say you want to get more creative, first I'm going to have you define like, what does creativity mean for you?
Mm-hmm.
Because it can be abstract, mean something different for each person.
Yeah.
Where I've helped people with it is, I'll give you a personal example. I wanted to move to somewhere warm. So got in my head, like, okay, I'm going to use this process to figure out where I'm going to go. Well, I narrowed it down, like, okay, the goal is somewhere warm. The idea is, where are these places? California, Florida, like, Arizona. And then, in developing the plan of like, where am I going to work? Okay. So I got a couple job offers. I got, an offer in Florida and then Arizona, and then further refined from there of like, okay, the beach or the desert. Well, at that time I wanted the beach. So then went to Florida, and then that was the action that I implemented by going through that process.
Gotcha. And is it really just this, is there like a protocol or something? I mean, how does this work?
Yeah, there's a protocol of like, 4 basic components to it.
Ooh.
So it's the technical terms for them. So clarification, ideation, development, and implementation.
Mm-hmm. I see. And let's see. Sorry. And tell us about your book. A lot of great reviews on this book. Just when I was reading it and I looking at the reviews, a lot of great reviews, a lot of great stories in there. How did this book come about?
I was hosting workshops and just kind of doing my own thing. Cause like the process I got bored of. I have a copy as well. Let's see what it looks like.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
So I was kind of did my own spin off of the process because I thought the process is kind of clunky. And so for me, it was, like I said, when I started being it was, going outside and looking at a tree and like seeing where a limb had been cut off, but there was this beautiful growth that had overtaken it. And it just looked so amazing. And it just kind of like opened my eyes to like being more aware and more alert of your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
So those were some of the stories I wrote in the book. I guess I had a backup section. So in my workshops, every time I do a workshop at the end, people would ask me, hey, I want your book. I want to do this again at home. I want your book. And I'm like, yeah, the book's a work in process. It's in the cloud. I don't have a book. That was like motivation enough that I'm like, enough people want this book. I'm going to write it. So then I wrote the book. And the book kind of was originated too on the concept of like the creative awareness itself, being alert to your surroundings. So like I said, noticing that tree, like open to notice something new, like a beginner's mindset, kind of like when you travel or go to a conference. And at that time, you're ready to take in more information. You're more perceptive. You're more in tune. And then I talk about techniques in the book, to get to that place and to notice more. Mm-hmm. See things in different perspectives. And that in tune helps you become more creative and helps you to become more in tune with your intuition.
Yeah. And are you still offering the workshops as well?
Yes.
Oh, good. Cool. So this is kind of like people can take this book home. They don't have access to you to take the workshop. They can take the book home and they can do the work themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in the book goes through a structure of like, I give a little like personal example or an example from somebody that was willing for me to share in the book. And then I give so that they can see how it's applied, talk them through doing it. And then there's action steps so that they can go home and do it themselves.
Fantastic. So Melissa, you're living a pretty awesome life now. Were you always living an awesome life?
No, that's kind of what led me to creativity.
Fantastic.
I used to
That's
be
funny.
the worst decision maker, like to the point I'm
Really?
like, yeah, I'm like, I trust everybody else's opinion over my own. Like, I couldn't
Wow.
make a decent decision to save my life. Like, if it
Wow.
was stupid, like, yeah, I'm all in because I just couldn't figure it out. Well, that stemmed from ignoring my intuition
Mm.
completely. Had a precognitive dream as a teenager, and I was right. And it scared me. So I just was like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I'll avoid that. So then I found this. I work in higher ed, and everybody needed a master's degree, and it could be
Hmm.
in whatever I wanted it in. So I just kind of started looking, and then I found Buffalo State's creativity program, and it immediately mentioned making better decisions. And I thought, okay, why not get a degree where I can learn how to make better decisions?
Really?
Yeah. So
What a
then,
great
within the
reason.
first week, I had that experience with the tree, and I'm like, yes, this is it. And like, I could go like intuition, like I'm back, I'm alive again. It took me over 20 years to get there.
Oh my God, how funny. So just because you couldn't make decisions,
Yeah.
um, that's funny. We had uh, Dan Goyette, good friend of mine, good friend of the shows. Um, runs the Michigan Hypnosis Conference. Melissa, where are you at again? You still down in Florida or something? Or
No, I'm in New York. Made a very, very quick decision to come back. I
uh-oh.
followed my intuition that was showing
Oh,
me that Florida was not working out. So I came back to back in the original place in Western New York. And I
wow.
see Dan's comment. Yes, the book is on Amazon.
Sorry, I was distracted because I was looking up the link for you guys, everybody. So I looked up the link. There it is. There's the link to it. Give me 1 second. I forgot to plug in the computer, and I'm panicking right now. I got to plug it in the laptop. So give me a second. It's going to run out of juice otherwise. All right, good to go. So I find this. Hey, Mark, good to see you. It's good to see you, buddy. So Melissa, you're out on that side of the world. You ought to go. You ought to go to the Michigan Hypnosis Conference sometime. I'm sure Dan would love to have you out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I do find this interesting too that there's so many people that have trouble making decisions. They really do. I mean, it's really interesting that I have found, and I think a lot of people they're afraid of making the wrong decision, things like this, and you see it all the time. This is one of the things that I tell people too. Like people say they don't want to be led, but they really do want to be led. And the way I know that is because if you ask anybody to go to lunch or something, what do they always say? Where do you want to go? And you say, wherever you want to go. Well, where do you want to go? And it goes back and forth when really most people don't give a damn where they go to lunch. They just don't want to be the one that makes the decision. I find it really interesting. Um, so do you run across that a lot? Have you found that a lot of people have trouble with making decisions, and does that lead them to your work, or can you help them?
I think it's more the curiosity and fun of it that leads
Mm,
people to it. Kind of, like creativity. What's that? Intuition.
yeah,
What are you talking about? Because I kind of,
right.
I leave it abstract intentionally because I feel like everybody will get out of it their own personal meaning and what is most relevant for them. It's kind of like, we can all look at the same picture or piece of artwork, but we're all going to see our own thing based on our life experience. And so from there, it just brings people in who are like ready to explore. And I leave it at
Mhm.
that, like, like an adventure. Let adventure find you.
Yeah, let adventure find you. I like that too. That's good. Um, so you couldn't make decisions, and what did that? Did you feel like you weren't very creative? Is that why you want to be a creativity expert?
No, it just kind of happened because I fell in love with the creativity within the
Mm,
first week of the program.
gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting, cool. And
And
what
then,
kind of
oh,
what
sorry.
what kind of led you here? What were you what kind of work were you doing before? Was there anything before this, or this has been it?
I work in higher ed still.
Mm,
I've
mm,
been there for over 10 years now. I work
mm,
in a nursing education program, designing instructional design with high fidelity mannequins for nurses to learn. And I
mm.
create fake wounds. Sometimes I play the part of an actress for, either a patient that's sick or a family member. So definitely creativity is necessary for the interesting components of every day is a different experience at that job.
I bet. Dan says he makes that mistake too. Forgets to plug in the computer. Jeffrey, he'll pick a place if you're buying. And Mark, question: what are the best ways to inspire clients to put in the work needed to get the benefits from coaching? What a great question, Mark. And I think especially when people come to us for hypnosis, they kind of expect the hypnosis to just do everything for them. So what a great question. So what are the best ways to inspire clients, Melissa?
I'd say it's just kind of like figuring out, what do they want? Why are they even there? What brought them in the door?
Mm-hmm.
And then, once they can identify that, if it's something that they're excited about fixing or solving or getting more out of, focus on where that excitement is, and then let that take you to the commitment. You're going to focus on what you're passionate about, and that will get you to commit.
Nice. Hey, and for everybody else that's watching, Melissa, what's your website?
My website is melissawildinsight.com.
melissawildinsight.com. We're going to type that into the chat. And if you're listening later, of course, you'll want to be able to get that. And of course, this is all in the show notes, everybody. Check that out. So go check her out. I haven't looked over there lately. You have like links to the book, your workshops, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Yep. There's links to the book, links to the workshop, link if you wanted to schedule and just have a chat with me.
Yeah. That reminds me, now you were at a Hypnothoughts. Were you teaching out there, or did you just go to?
Yeah, I taught a session where I talked about the book, and I shared a whole bunch of techniques, and we had a really good time on that. I've heard from quite a few people from my talk with their experiences after. It seems to be everybody's got a lot of musical intuition.
Really? A lot of. Tell me more about that. What do you what did you do something specifically musical when you?
Yeah, I had them scan, because, I get songs that pop in my head, and usually they're kind of foreshadowing the day. And lately now I get songs for other people too, which has been a lot of fun. So I shared with them how to do it. So it's just kind of a matter of scan your mind and notice any song that's kind of comes to your head. If there's not something there, even if there's something that's been repeating, like, just take a minute to write down those lyrics that are with you. And then as you think about those lyrics, connect them to what's going on in your life. Like, what is this telling you? Sometimes with those repetitive songs too, you'll find you haven't figured out what it is yet, or it's something upcoming.
So you're talking about scanning for a song that's it's been recorded before, or like a new song that you're making?
Any song that's just coming into your head. I'm not saying we're becoming musicians. I'm just saying, like, any song. Like, I'll give an example. So my son and I were driving the other day, and, like, we turned and the car turned, and then we turned again and the car turned, and he's like, they're following us. They're following me. And then the song on the radio that came on was, I will follow him. And I'm like, you're right. And then we both started laughing. So it's things like that. Sometimes it's just silly stuff. Other times it's stuff that's like, it's a warning. And, like, as you start to notice it, it's like, I knew it. It's just fun.
Wow. How funny when you really tap into that intuition, huh?
Yeah.
You get connected like that. Yeah. Who do you help? So, and you're also a hypnotherapist. Can you tell us more about that work?
That I've just been, kind of helping people for free, for fun. I haven't really developed my confidence in that yet. So, that's still evolving.
Stop. Time out. Cut that out. What?
I know. Being honest, it's true.
You heard that, people. Shoot her an email right now. She's doing work for free. Go get some free hypnosis from Melissa Wild. But now, if you're listening to this later, she may have already stopped offering it for free. So you better jump on that really quickly. Today is October 4th, 2023. By probably 10/5/23, that's over. So get on it quick.
Yeah. Or maybe by 10/4 at 3:30, that's over.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm like hearing in my head all the stuff I went through at Hypnothoughts that kept reminding me, stop giving your stuff away for free. What's wrong with you?
Yes. What's wrong with you? I bet there's a lot of people. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there. Believe me, I know there's a lot of people out there because I work with a lot of them that are concerned about not charging. How long ago did you go through your training?
2018. So it's been a while.
Oh my God. What? Melissa, what are you? That's what a bargain, everybody. You've got somebody here with years of experience offering some low cost, not free, hypnosis sessions. Um, what has been kind of holding you back from the confidence? Just not enough reps in, um, or what's going on with that?
Um, I'm sorry, what's holding me back from what?
Oh, from starting to practice professionally, I guess.
Um, I guess it was just, that fear and lack of confidence
Hmm.
was what's holding me back. Because I'm like with the workshops, I incorporate hypnosis into them and have no problem with
Yeah.
charging for that. No problem with charging with one-on-one. I guess it's just a matter of like using the word hypnosis. Because I shared my hypnosis training was through a hypnosis training
Yeah.
company, and that kind of got me like scared of like, you can do all the hypnosis, just don't use the word hypnosis.
I'm still confused by that one. Did they want you to call it guided meditation or something, or what did
Coaching,
they
Ericksonian coaching.
Gotcha. But they did teach hypnosis.
Yeah.
So weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but
Some
I mean,
advanced level stuff too. I
really.
realized the hypno thoughts when I'd go to something I thought was new and I'm like, oh, I know this. I've been doing this.
It's interesting because there are a lot of people that are concerned about that term, and there was a guy down in, I remember, in Phoenix, who was very well known in the community, and he called his stuff guided meditation. And I started wanting to do that myself, but then what I realized, if somebody's looking for a hypnotist, they want a hypnotist. So
Yeah, you're right.
um, that was one of the reasons that I made sure. I've had a lot of opportunities given to me just because I'm a hypnotist, because they're looking for specifically a hypnotist. Um, but regardless, I mean, hey, if you're going out there and you're giving people pro bono sessions and they're getting some value out of it, well, great, win-win situation. You get more confidence and they get some experience. Has there been a certain type of client that has kind of gravitated towards you?
Yeah. So far, it seems like children and the elderly.
Really?
Hmm.
How interesting.
The kids
Um,
think it's magic, and they're
yeah,
like all in, like, ooh, wow. And with the elderly, it's sometimes like a perspective shift where they might be feeling stuck because they've become caretakers, or, things have changed in their life where they have some limitations. So they're realizing that even right where they are, that there's beauty and joy in their life.
yeah. Beauty and joy in their lives. What a great goal for everybody. That's a great point, Dan. I need to send you my hypnotic confidence session, Melissa.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
do
I
that
got to
one.
go back to listening to that. I listen to that every single day through launch now. It helped
Oh,
me.
okay.
I was doing
Okay.
great then.
You got to get back on it.
Yes. Not that I'm not doing great now. I'm just like, wait a minute, why am I back to free? Something's wrong here.
Yeah.
Change their programming.
Get that creative thinking going. You can start
Yes,
charging money.
exactly.
Um, the thing is though, it changes the dynamic. When you're, for you and for the client, when they're paying and when you're receiving money. So you have even better success oftentimes when they're paying, and they're more invested. The reality twister, Jonathan. Hello, Jonathan. Good to see you. He's tuning in. The reality twister. Hypnotist down in Phoenix. Hey, I want to let everybody know too. So, Hypnosis Hero this week, we don't have a scheduled guest. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do a wild card. So, Sean Kostiak, Brian Bay, and I are going to be chatting about hypnosis, but we're going to be inviting anyone who watches to join us and chat with us. And if you're a hypnotist and you want to join us for the hypnosis session later, we're going to try to get 4, 5, 10 hypnotists doing a session together. I think that'll be really super, super fun. Um, so you've mentioned, what's next for you, Melissa? You talked about, you've been to HypnoThoughts, you went through the Launch Now course, and tell us, what's next?
I'm going to be doing my workshop at a medical conference in San Diego coming up soon. So I'm looking forward to
Ooh, that's
that.
nice and warm. That's
Yeah,
warm.
nice and warm. January, which is a great time to not be in Buffalo-ish, New York.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, nice. So So it's funny, you had this idea that you wanted to go someplace to be warm, and then you got there and were like, no, let's go back to one of the coldest places on earth.
True. And we moved back in the winter.
Um, was some creativity involved in that? Was there like a
Yeah.
just didn't
Fast-paced
like warm?
creativity, really high speed. It was not working out for my son at all, the
Uh,
Florida
uh,
experience. Like it just wasn't. He'll get mad that I'm going to share this, but I'm going to share it anyway. He ended up getting like the punch in the nose and the broken nose and reconstructive surgery was like, how much worse does this need to get? We're done here.
mm,
We're done. And I was still in
mm.
close contact with somebody I worked with who kept, sending me pictures from work of like, come back, come back. And I was like, by the way, I got my old job back, and it
Wow.
just, we were able to get the moving truck booked real quick because I guess for some reason people move out of Florida in the winter. And it was even, so it was kind of like
Huh.
within a week's time, we were out of there,
Wow.
back to our original house because the buyer's funding fell through. So it
Wow.
just all lined up. And then I was seeing road signs that made me like, okay, we're going to have a fresh perspective on the inland sea of Lake Erie. Here we go.
Mm. All right. Lake Erie. I think Dan has a view of Lake Erie as well. um, wow, that's too bad. I'm really sorry about your son. I faced a lot of bullying when I was a kid, and that's really tough. And especially when you're the new kid at a new school,
Yeah.
um, it is tough, really tough. So, personally, I might have just sent him by himself and just stayed down there and worked on my tan. But you're a good mom. Good for you. Jonathan, the reality twister says, stop, make the money. That's right. Make the money.
Yes,
That's right.
you are right.
Show me the money. It, I remember when I was, when I was doing massage therapy, that was one of the big things that all of us, when we first started doing massage, was like, I can't imagine charging people now for it or anything, but it gets easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially since you've already been integrating it into your session. So you're really an experienced hypnotist. So hopefully you'll start doing that. Anybody on the call want to book a session with Melissa? She's only charging $157 from now on until she raises it. So
Yeah. We go with it.
let's set a starting price. So you're heading out to the convention, and then are any new books on the way? New
Yeah.
workshops? Other ones? Yeah, new
Mhm.
book.
Keep running with the same workshop because it's just been awesome and people really love it. So that one
Yeah.
I do virtually and in person if there's enough people to
Oh,
book it.
virtually. Oh, good.
hmm
Cool.
Yeah, virtually is fun too because you can kind of, like I mentioned, exploring right where you are. How better to explore
Hmm.
where you are than being on a virtual call in your own environment?
Yeah. How cool too that people are not limited by where they live, and they don't have to travel if they don't want to or can't. So they can take advantage of that. But new books.
Yeah, I'm working on one called Wild Intensity. And
Hmm.
so that one goes deeper into the intuition stuff. I've been having a series of precognitive dreams that just keep
Hmm.
happening and evolving into a story. So the part one's going to write about that story. And then part two, teaching you how to do that yourself. So that, because I
Hmm.
feel like we all can tap into our own intuition. So I'm going to talk you through ways really to do a deep dive and do that, kind of getting into different timelines, recognizing those dreams, recognizing more what's intuition versus what's not, that kind of stuff. So the first book is a lot of fun. The second book's going to be pretty deep.
Oh,
Still fun.
nice.
I'm finding this one a lot of fun. It's taken me forever to write it because I'm having so much fun with it.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So everybody out there, be sure and check out Melissa's stuff. Also, check out my hypnoticsuccessacademy.com, and where you can find courses on self-hypnosis, hypnotic success, where I'm going to lead you through a process where you're going to set some goals. You're going to achieve those goals. You're going to start kicking more ass in life. You'll also find some great stuff on street hypnosis. I've got that up there, and a lot of other stuff coming soon. So be sure and check that out. I'll probably even put my confidence course up there that Melissa's going to go through. So she, so you'll find that too. Thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan says it's great. It was a pretty good class. Of the quality, the video quality, guys, wasn't that great, but but we're getting better on that. But really, some great content. A lot of people learn how to rapidly hypnotize people. What was I going to say? There was oh, that's what I was going to say. It's so interesting how we can have confidence in certain areas of our life, and then other areas like have much lower uh, feelings of confidence in that. So you're definitely not alone, Melissa, for sure.
Thank you.
Well, that's nice of you to say, Jonathan. Jonathan's talking about my 2-hour course, the Hypnotic Street Tactics, I believe it's called. $27, guys. It may go up, so maybe the price isn't that anymore. Just like Melissa going for free, may not be the same next when you watch this. So get over there quickly. What is the best way if somebody wanted to, follow you or maybe reach out to you? You've got your social media, which is listed in the notes, but let's say it out there out loud because podcast listeners oftentimes do not go back and look at the notes. So what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can message me through Facebook or connect with me on Facebook. I like Melissa Wild Insight. I use that for everything. I use that on my LinkedIn, which I don't use LinkedIn too much. So I would say you could reach out to me. I'll answer, but it might take a few days. Through my website, you can email me. That I'm on top of daily. Same with Facebook.
Good. Yeah, I find like if I get any messages on LinkedIn, I just assume that they're spam because there's so much spam crap on there.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to open the
No.
messages over there. It's kind of annoying, which sucks because then if I message someone, I assume they think it's spam too. So, so weird. So, I got to tell you too, this Melissa Wild Insight, what a great name for the work that you do, Melissa.
Thank you. Yeah, it
Yeah.
all started with my workshop, which was wild and then in space sight, because I did a lot of visual back then. Well, then the
Oh, gotcha.
visual evolved into, like I said, musical, hypnosis. So I didn't want to limit it to photography and visual for people that are, have other senses that work better for them. So then I smooshed insight together. I thought, yes, that's it.
Nice. Hey, if you're watching right now, everybody, please go and subscribe. The great thing, Melissa, is that you're able to get Melissa Wild Insight for all your socials, which is really awesome. Just that one name.
Yeah.
So many times it's hard to find that one key, like Jim Kellner. Some guy got Instagram before me, so now I have to be Jim Kellner Instagram. But I will tell you, guys, he actually passed away. No kidding. Kind of a young guy too. I don't know what the story is. He's a comic, and I'm kind of wondering like if it's appropriate to reach out and see if I can have it because he's no longer with us. Anyway, that's a side note. Melissa, before we go, as we do every Exploring Awesome. Sorry, it's been a while since we had an episode because we're in the new season. Always take summers off. Melissa, we need 3 tips for our listeners out there right now to help them to live a more awesome life. What would you recommend?
I would say 3 tips. Do what it is that you love the most. Fit that into your everyday if you can. That's tip number 1.
Okay.
Tip number 2, notice something new today, like something you haven't noticed before. So pay attention to that. And number 3, keep being you.
Keep being you. I love that. So now you were talking about those moments, and that's what you're talking about right there. Is
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
moments that
Go out there
something that you
and
like,
have
find
that
those.
moment.
Nice. And then discovering something new, which I think can happen just even on the same route that we drive every day or the same home that we're living in, right? I mean, sometimes you look and you go, was that always there? Was that vase always there? Was that tree pole or that pole over there? Was that always there? So pretty easy to find those new things if you're looking for them.
Yeah. And when you find that new thing, like take a look and observe it for a minute. Like, what's it doing for you?
Yeah. Cool. Everybody, please do like, subscribe, do all the things. If you'd like to get a free hypnosis download, you can get that over at my website, jimkellnerhypnotist.com/free-hypnosis. Put that in the link here too. It's also in the notes called Unlimited Happiness. It'll make you feel unlimited happiness, almost guaranteed. And let's see, free hypnosis. I do want to remind everybody to join me again this week We'll have Sean Kostiak, Brian Bay. And if you're a hypnotist, join us because you could come on and hypnotize people. Melissa, you could come on. Of course, it's a little late for you because it's 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. But if you want to come on, you can come on and you can hypnotize people as well. 7:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on this YouTube channel or this Facebook page, whatever you're watching right now. So please join us. Anything else that folks need to know about you, Melissa, or living a more awesome life?
I would say yes, get out there and live your wilds. And your wilds is, what makes you your most authentic self, just like your fingerprint. It's what's unique to you.
Live your wild. What a great place to stop. Melissa, stick around. We're going to end the broadcast, but I'll chat with you for a few minutes. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. Go live the awesome life. Don't settle for ordinary. Take care. Be well. Be awesome.